are you alive? If you're like most people, you've laughed that question off and gave some answer like, who knows? But if you are like most people, whether you'll admit it or not, that question has plagued you. So why does it bother you so much? Why do you want to know so badly why you're here? Because you're human. And in every person is an inherent desire to have purpose, the desire to live for something. You want to have a reason for being here. No one wants to just be alive, to be here and be worthless. No one really wants to simply be a part of some natural process, living out your life simply because you're here and you don't have any other option. No one wants to live just to live. That's why so many people have ended up choosing suicide. They analyzed this life and found no reason to go on. I mean, after all, with all the pain, suffering, heartache, loss, broken relationships, frustration, and failure, why would you want to live if your only reason was to simply keep on living through all of that? But nobody wants to live that way, so people manufacture purpose all the time. They decide to live for success or happiness in whatever way they define it, and always end up at one of two dead ends. Either they chase after their goal their entire life, never reach it, and are left empty because they failed. Or they achieve all their goals, but finally they still aren't satisfied. Either way, you're left empty. So how about it? Can you really know? Can anyone actually know for certain why they're alive? I'm here to tell you that you can. And not only can you know your purpose, you can live it. No matter what anyone tells you, there is truth in this world. Pure, absolute, unadulterated truth. There is one truth, because by nature, truth is exclusive. But the world doesn't like hearing that. You see, the problem is with all the beliefs and philosophies out there, if I tell you that there's one and only one truth, I'm about to say that a whole lot of people are wrong. And people hate being told that they're wrong. But if I do know the truth, and I don't shout it from the mountaintops, it's not only selfish. In this case, it's murder. I do know the truth. And the world upside down was created to proclaim this truth to the world at a time when it seems that the only absolute is uncertainty. So, are you ready for it? The truth is that this life really isn't about you at all. Now, I hope you haven't shut me off yet, because although what I'm about to tell you is one of the hardest messages to stomach, it is not only the most glorious message ever heard, but it is the best and only way to truly be alive. So here it is. You are alive for glory. But not just anyone's glory. You are alive for the glory of the God of the universe. And more specifically than that, for the glory of the person Jesus. This message is bound up in something called the gospel. And the gospel says that every single one of us was born broken, with a problem we cannot fix, a need we cannot meet, and a debt we can never pay. But Jesus came in love and died to give his life in our place so that we might live. But it doesn't stop there. It gets so much better than that. Now don't miss this, because this is the vital, life-giving, pivotal element that people have missed for years. Whether you grew up in church or if you've never opened a Bible in your life, you probably haven't heard this. What I'm about to tell you is the capstone of the gospel. It's something called the exchanged life. The exchanged life in its most basic form is you giving up your life so that Jesus can give you his life. You must in a way die so that you can live. In Galatians 2:20, Paul says, I am crucified with Christ. Nevertheless I live. Yet not I, but Christ lives in me. In the life that I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself up for me. You can hear Paul kind of struggling with a good way to say this, because after all, this is a complex yet beautifully simple concept. He says, I am crucified with Christ. Now, anyone who's crucified should be dead. Nevertheless, I live. What? How? Yet not I, but Christ lives in me. And the life I now live in the flesh that is in my body, I live by faith in the Son of God, Jesus, who loved me and gave himself up for me. Throw in Luke 14:27, which says, whoever does not bear his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. And you've got a very different gospel than what people have proclaimed for years. So the message is so much more than come to Jesus and have your sins forgiven so you don't have to go to that nasty place called hell. It says you must come to Jesus, the one who made you, loved you, and died for you while you were rebelling against him. Give your life to him, and he will not only forgive your debt you could never pay, but he will live his very life through you. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. You rebelled in sin, and your just punishment was death and hell. But God loved you in your impudent rebellion so much that he came and died and took your punishment, the full wrath of God, on himself, full well knowing that you might not even care. And as if that wasn't enough, he made a way that once you accepted his payment on your behalf, he would give you his very life inside of you if you would but give all of your life to him. Your life for his. Do you realize what an absurd trade that is? This is the very reason that your life didn't work before. This is the reason that you found life empty. This is the very reason that people kill themselves. It's because you're living for the wrong person. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, and whether you feel it or not, you were designed to live for and glorify the very God that loved you and gave up his life for you. See, the crazy thing is, he loves you. The God of the universe loves you and is holding out life and life more abundant to you. So get up, stop trudging in the dust of your self-centered existence, and live for Jesus. No matter who you are, this message applies to you. Whether you've never heard the gospel before, or if you've already accepted the payment Jesus made for your sins, the full life of Christ is still waiting for you. So give up your wretched life and empty pursuits, and live